Hi, lovely and darling viewers. It's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing Haunted Ohio Ghosts and Strange Phenomena of the Buckeye State by Charles A. Stansfield Jr. So, this is a collection of folk tales and ghost stories and creepy things that have supposedly happened in Ohio, which is my home state, so that's why I picked this book. I love Halloween, and I decided I need Halloween early, so I started reading my spooky books already. And this book was interesting, but I don't know that it was like super spooky. Just a heads up, if that's what you're looking for. This might not be it. Um, this one takes more of an academic approach of a researcher investigating folktales, and this is what people say have happened. But then also sometimes he throws in this dark and scary night um, vibe going on there. Like there are ghosts, and you might run into one of them one night. Ooh. But like the overall tone is more detached and almost journalistic. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I did mostly enjoy it. So the stories in here come from all over Ohio. In fact, he has split them up by like part of the state. There are a few things that were not in the right section, so clearly this is not somebody who lives in Ohio or even proofread their book, because one of them is about Hinckley, which is 15 miles south of Cleveland. So it's up by Cleveland, but it's in the section about Cincinnati. And if you guys don't know Ohio, like Cleveland is one of the northernmost cities, and Cincinnati is definitely like the southern tip of the state. So they're like completely different ends of the state. So, and he even says that it's by Cleveland in the thing. So somebody wasn't proofreading. And I feel like there's another one in here that's also in the wrong part of the state, like obviously in the wrong part of the state. So there's plenty of ghost stories in here. One of them is about James Garfield, which he supposedly haunts his tomb still. And that's pretty cool because that's like right by where I work. Like seriously, just down the street from my job. So it's kind of spooky to be like, hey, I know where that is. I've been there. But I haven't seen his ghost, guys. Sorry. And there's a story in here about a vampire cat. So somebody decided instead of giving their kitten milk when they were little, they're just going to give it blood. And so it developed a taste for blood and then started trying to hunt children. They're like, so we need to kill this thing right now. They tried to kill it and it came back. So then they had to find silver and kill it. So don't feed your cats blood, guys. Not a great idea. There's like a story about a zombie who was, his body was dug up and it was like a grave robbed, and they used it for medical research, but he was not okay with that. So like the ghost came back and like haunted everybody in the school and like tried to destroy it, and did a pretty good job of it. There's lots of stories about people or pets knowing things that they shouldn't know, or seeing ghosts, stories about witches, all kinds of things. There's a great story in here which I really love, which is kind of like the Telltale Heart, where this guy murdered his daughter and then like shoves her body into like the wall and is like, nobody's gonna find it, it's in the wall. But then he starts seeing blood all the time and he starts freaking out, and one day the cops come over just like because like they're friends, and he's like, oh my god, the blood has come back again, and completely confesses. So yeah, it was a great story. I loved it. There's a story about a like hospital table that this blood spot would appear at certain times, and if it appeared, you knew the person was gonna live or something, and if it didn't, they were gonna die. Stories about UFO sightings. A statue of a wolf that growls occasionally. So there's lots of weird, creepy things that supposedly happen in Ohio. There's a story about Native Americans and the Civil War and runaway slaves. Yeah, and there are great pictures like this one, which are supposed to be creepy, but are obviously just like photoshopped. Not great. It's kind of an interesting vibe to it, this book. It entertained me though, so I still gave it 3 stars, but like it wasn't what I was looking for, so it's definitely not getting a higher rating. Most of the stories are only like a page front and back, or like 1 page total. I got stories in here about like Johnny Appleseed still going around and trying to plant more trees. Not like a vicious ghost, just totally benign. He just wants you to have apples, which is, pretty cool. There are some stories about like murderers and stuff, so some of them get a little bit creepy. There's a story about a riverboat. There's just this one ghost. It's like this old guy, like a retired guy, just like shows up He doesn't actually have a spot on the boat, and apparently he's just like, I'm going on my cruise. That's how I'm spending my afterlife. I'm just gonna keep taking the ride down the river just for the heck of it, and doesn't bother anybody. And I think it's pretty sweet. There's also another story about a funeral parlor where there is a butler who cleans up for them, and they're like, you know what, we're fine with this ghost. I don't have to pay somebody to clean because I got a butler doing it, so fine with me. It doesn't bother anyone. I found it interesting just to see all these different stories about Ohio, and it was kind of an interesting way to like find out more about my state and things that happened, especially not in Northeast Ohio where I'm from. So like finding out the history of Southeast Ohio or around Columbus and seeing it through this kind of I guess an interesting way to learn about it. Really didn't pay attention much about in school about the Civil War, so I didn't know that we only had one battle and that we had POWs captured in Ohio. So I did learn some stuff. That was cool. So it's pretty like it's a good read. It was fine. It's definitely a short read. Also, I checked this out of the library, so it's not like I bought the book and then was disappointed with it. It wasn't too spooky. I could totally read this at night and not have nightmares. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'll leave it up to you guys to just, whether or not this sounds like your kind of thing or not. There's my review for Haunted Ohio by Charles A. Stansfield Jr. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.